train now coming into Enfield Station, platform 1, heading for Connolly Station in Dublin. Good service, and I don't know how. It's a huge improvement on years ago there in terms of public transport in Enfield. Just met a couple of people there who I know for many, many years. Patsy Costello and her husband, Patsy. And they were just saying they're 50 years in Enfield now shortly this year. But they were just remarking the improvements in Enfield over the years between public transport and train service, the canal, good bus service now and so on. But I was on there the other day. I'm just testing this old video, or testing this microphone actually, and testing this camera down here beside the on the train station. It's just lunchtime there, and it's the 7th of June I think it is. But anyway, the other day there I was in a awful bad, I was in a particular humour. Here, we'll have a look at this train now before I go on and make my point. It's the train pulling out of Enfield, heading for Connolly. But I was just saying there, I was in bad humour there the other day in work. And when I was a young man employing people, it was an awful boss to work for. I was a very, very hard taskmaster. I'm not proud of the way I carried on or behaved, but I was very young. I was 23 when I started, and in the early years at that age, it's very, very young, very immature to be managing people and so on. But that was what I was doing and what I had to do. But my management skills weren't the best then, and quite frankly, I was very aggressive and I was a bully, and I'll admit that. But the other day there now, I was in bad old humour in the office, and to put it mildly, the ladies who worked for me there would have felt the brunt of it, would have felt my tongue the other day. And in feeling my tongue, I hope you can see me there, hope the audio's alright. I'm kind of testing this wireless mic. But I was saying I was in bad humour, and it was like turning the clock back to 1986, 1987. I really cracked the whip, quite frankly, and I was rude and aggressive and everything a good manager shouldn't be. But at the end of the day, after a day of what I'm sure the girls thought was an office atmosphere and scenario, a bit like Dante's Inferno, at the end of the day, we had got shit done. We had done a lot. So even though, without a shadow of a doubt, my behaviour was unprofessional and was a complete departure from what I would normally do and what I would normally teach people. I would normally give people advice about managing people and getting the best out of people. And I know intellectually what the right things to do are. But on this particular occasion, I was just in a bad out form. I was in some sort of a funk. And it was as if I say I turned the clock back 30 or 40 years and just cracked the whip. And at the end of the day, we actually got a lot done. We got a serious amount done. It's not something that I would recommend every day. And it's not something that I'd recommend for other employers. It's not the way to manage people. It's not the way to afford dignity and respect in the workplace. But it was bloody effective. And it really was, it was a bit of a shitstorm, quite frankly, for the girls, and probably a bit of a culture shock. But from time to time, you might find yourself in some sort of a humour, some sort of a funk, and you're impatient and you have a very, very big list of things to do. You have lists and lists of tasks to do. You have sales to complete, you have calls to make, you have letters to send, etc., etc. And you just need to get shit done. And that's what we actually did the other day. So I'm not proud of how I carried on. I'm not proud of my behaviour, not by a long way. But I would say it was pretty effective. That's the railway line there behind me. Anyway, that's it. That's the video for today. Train station in Enfield, heading for Connolly. It's the 7th of June, I think it is, 6th or 7th of June. It's a Friday. And I just thought I'd share that with you about being in a crappy humour the other day and doing something that intellectually and philosophically I know is wrong, but I know we got some serious work done and we really ploughed through the lists we needed to plough through. So anyway, that's my observation.